you're interviewing me. I got a chance to interview you before, but I got to ask you a question. So how did you develop your own? It'd be good for other people to understand this. How did you develop your own? You obviously have your own point of view, Terrence.
Yes.
I've listened to you before. I interviewed you. You've got your own point of view. It's just yours.
Yes.
How'd you do that?
I've always had my own point of view.
You think you were born that? You're kind of born that way. That kind of instinct.
Yeah. A lot of people ask me like, who was it that taught you this?
Yeah. That's what
you
I'm
know,
asking.
like I told you, I was on your radio show and I told you my story. I grew up in foster care.
Right.
So a lot of people expect me to be a super liberal, diehard Democrat, Black Power, Black Lives Matter, I love Al Sharpton. No, I'm not that kind of person. And I just was born with common sense because the foster homes that I stayed in, 99% of those people were all super liberal. Now, I remember my first foster home, and I call them Mama and Papa, Caledonia and John Solomon, they were Democrats, but they were old school. They were born in the 40s.
When I was a Democrat.
They were born in the 40s, and they had common sense, and they were really conservative.
What happened
But they
to them?
vote, they vote Democrat. But they taught me a lot. They taught me a lot. I believe I picked up a lot of common sense from them because I looked up to them, and they were older. They were born in the 40s.
Yeah.
And at that time, I mean, they were like in their 60s.
Well, I feel like I know them. That's my father.
Yeah,
my father was a Democrat. My mother was a Republican.
Yeah.
But both of them agreed more than they disagreed.
Yeah.
When it came election time, they'd start fighting with each other.
Yeah.
One would be for Stevenson, the other would be for Eisenhower.
Yeah.
One would be for Nixon, the other would be for Kennedy. But on things, they were about 80% the same.
Yeah, and Mama and Papa, like I said, they were common sense people. And they did not allow you to blame other people for your mistakes. They did not allow that. They believed in people working hard, work for what you want. They believed in that. I mean, I remember even when if I would make good grades, or if I sweep the kitchen floor, they'll buy me a suit. Yeah, they'll buy me a suit. I'm like I'm in kindergarten. I got me a new suit. And every time I do good in school, my report card, if I make good grades, if I do my chores or whatever, I would get a new suit. I mean,
you must have had a lot of suits.
A little suit, yeah.
What did you do with these suits?
I mean, but you know what? Unfortunately, I was in foster care with them, so they didn't adopt me because my mother still had rights.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to my mother, and then I went back to the system again because my mother. I mean, we were in and out of her house. Back with my mother 1 week, back to the foster care shelter, back then to a foster home, back with my mom, back to the shelter, to a foster home. It was just back and forth.
How did you turn out? Why did you turn out to at least be totally confused?
I mean, listen, I had a rough childhood. Literally no home training. But one thing I had was God. And my first foster parents, they were strong believers in God.
And they gave
every
you God.
every single night before we went to bed, we had me and my foster siblings, we went into Mama's and Papa's room, and we were at the edge of the bed, and we did our prayers. Every single night, they'll read us a Bible verse, and then we say our prayers, and then we go to bed. So they were strong believers in God, so I knew about God since I was...
So that stayed with you consistently
That has stayed with me. I mean, I used to know the Bible... I used to know the Bible inside out. Like,
lucky at 16 you didn't go out preaching like Sharpton did.
Yes, I used to know I used to can quote anything in the Bible until I left their house and went to some corrupt homes. Forgot all about the verses in the Bible. Well, what's that book again?
But you got to see reality.
Yes,
too.
But I never forgot about God because when I didn't have my mother, my father, when I didn't have my brothers, my sisters, God was always with me. Mm-hmm. And my mom had 9 kids addicted to crack cocaine. And like I said, the childhood was terrible. But the greatest thing is that I lived in America. So, the greatest thing is that I live in America. And when you live in another country going through foster care, I mean, if you don't have a mom and a dad living in Venezuela, you probably won't be sitting with the greatest mayor.
Right.
You'll probably still be in the
it's
streets.
a lot you too, though.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's a lot.
But the greatest thing,
it's a combination.
Yes,
But it's a lot you.
it is a combination. But the American dream is real here, so I was able to still live the American dream and make something of myself because this country is so great. So I've always loved America. You know, I've been through so much, and I wasn't really that. I did have moments growing up where I'm like, why me? Why me? But
how can you escape that? You
yeah,
can't,
exactly.
You can't.
Why me? Why me? Why me? But you know that doesn't work. Okay, your whole life, that doesn't work. You can't feel sorry for yourself your whole life. And once you become of age, you have to take care of yourself, and you have to move on. Okay,
So
no matter what you've been through, you have to move on. But thank God I had some very great common sense foster care parents. And then I was adopted in my teenage years. And I finally had a father figure in my life, permanent father figure. Like I tell everybody about him, he'll say, Terrence, pull your pants up, you look stupid. Why are you sagging? You are not a thug. Because I used to want to be a thug, Rudy.
Yeah, of
Rudy,
course.
I used to want to be a thug. I used to want to be in the mafia.
Did you?
I used to look up to John Gotti and them.
Is it true?
But I'm too, but you know, I'm a little short, you know, so the thug thing didn't work out too well, Rudy. It didn't work out too well. It didn't work out too well. I go in the bank, put the money in the bag. I said, give me back my gun.
They didn't pay attention to
Give
you?
me back my gun. They took my gun.
So you think if you were about 6'5", you might be a gangster?
Yeah. If I was 6'5", Rudy, I'd be a big bad gangster. I'd be stomping on people, Rudy. I think God has blessed me with this short height because he knew if he made me tall, I would have been a gangster. Man, I would have been choke slamming people.